Yeah, very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is the fourth edition of the YIF podcast series, and today we have our very beloved Professor, Mr. Mihir, and I'm sure like we had an extraordinary experience with him. We learned so much as a community, and this is something which will stay with us forever. So today we're going to learn something very interesting about his life, and he has taken a lot of transitions from one career to another, and it's very inspiring. At the same time, it's very intriguing for us to know how these transitions happen. And we have Tanmay and Rituja today interviewing sir. So let's proceed to the interview of YIF Talks podcast with Mihir sir.
So good evening, sir. So we are obviously after getting to know your courses, we kind of checked up on your bio to see what you've been through in life, and I was really intrigued to see that you started as a business consultant after doing your MBA, then you moved to social sector with working with Clinton Foundation, then you worked.
First non-profit experience was with the equivalent of a TCD organization. It was called the Recreation Center for the Handicapped.
And then you moved to news anchoring with NDTV.
And Tufts Foundation back in Denver.
Yeah, and again now you're academy as a professor of communication at Tufts. So I just want to ask that, were these shifts in career intentional in the sense that did you take them while moving towards a larger goal in your life, or were these just as a result of an urge to move to do something new?
Yeah, so each of these changes was for different reasons. So the short answer would be a combination, you see, of circumstance and direct, I guess, desire to move into something that is more exciting. I also do believe that people, as they go through their career, as they go through their life, their interests could change. You know, as you grow, you may like something for a while, and then you realize that my interest has shifted. And there's this other thing about doing something for a little bit, gaining the skills, and then trying to move on to something else. Management consulting is a little bit of a default industry for the university that I had gone to. That a lot of consulting firms come, and there you go when you want to buy some time almost before you decide what to do. So when that happened initially, both after college and after business school, I saw it as a way to expand some horizons, see a bunch of different industries, and while I'm trying to figure out where the sweet spot lies. And that sweet spot kept moving, and circumstances kept changing.
So how has these transitions and shift from one to another has influenced your personal life? Like, were those major influences, or has it in any manner influenced your personal life?
No, of course. I mean, your job impacts your life completely, right? It's something that takes up so many hours of your day. I mean, jobs are not 9 to 5 these days. They are a significant portion of your living hours, and I think it has an impact. So let me talk about each of the individual industries and spaces that I've been in and how they've impacted my life. So management consulting was very interesting in that it kind of pushes you into a fast-paced environment where everyone is sharp. So if you're not sharp, you get left behind. And I think it also requires an understanding of the industry and of business at a very fast pace. So if you're not truly interested in business problem solving, organization problem solving, then I think you're left behind a little bit. But the best thing about management consulting is that you get to work with a lot of sharp people moving at a very quick pace, so it makes you quite efficient. The best thing about working at a non-profit organization in the services field is that you get to work around people who are kind and inspiring and motivating to work with, right? So you feel like you're around good people. And but sometimes the pace can be a little slower. Things are not as efficient, but you have to appreciate that beauty by itself. The public health world, when I worked in that space with the Clinton Foundation, I really felt that our work sometimes can directly save lives, and there's few jobs that allow you to actually save lives, not enhance lives. So that was the inspiration there. Again, a bit slower pace than the for-profit or the consulting world, but an opportunity to work with the government to impact millions of lives. And I think television, ironically, people think of television as just kind of glamorous and fun and chill, but it was incredibly intellectually stimulating. So serving as a television anchor, you have to constantly be on top of things, you're constantly getting data, you have to cull it and be able to speak in short bursts and in sound bites. So those were some of the highlights of the different industries that I've seen. And finally with teaching, I think it brings together the elements of performing but also touching lives. And today was a particularly, I think, a very heartening and motivating day for me. So just because there's 200 of you and we have kind of this really like a nice flourish at the end of the class, several of you came and gave your own individual bites about what this experience had meant. And some of those were like, deeply, they were just, I was so happy. And it wasn't just necessarily praise to me, but it was just about how a little intervention has brought them confidence, it has changed a small dimension on life, it has brought them closer to the community. So to be a catalyst around that and get to do well, that it's like people and their eyes right around it.
I think the previous question which she asked, I would just like to know as to, was there anything in his personal life which led to the transitions as well, like vice versa?
If it's too personal, it should be personal. Right? But I'll tell you one thing is that I was ran out of my H-1B visa status at one point. You get so many years to be on an H-1B visa, and you have to spend 1 year out of the country. So towards that, I saw that as an exploration. In fact, I moved to Mumbai and I wanted to get out of the MBA mindset. So I interviewed to be a VJ with NTV, and then they actually entertained it for a while, and they took a long time to get back, and then during that time I did some commercials here, there, some couple that you know of. And so I was looking at that creative side. I felt when I'm in India I'm not tied to a visa. And the thing about my mindset, which I think is a little different from others, is that I'm quite confident with risk. I think people have either risk-seeking or a risk-averse attitude towards life. And I feel in this day and age, if you are risk-seeking, you land okay. You won't land too badly. There's enough jobs in enough fields that if you just stick with it, something will pick you up.
A lot of transitions in so long, in such a short period of time, apparently to us. Doesn't seem like it's been so long. But are you still open for more transitions in your life?
So one thing about me is I don't like thinking about where I'll be in 5 years or 10 years. And I think that is very different from most of my classmates in business school or most of the people that I work with at firms like McKinsey, Bain, and consulting, and sort of type A personalities, right? So for me, if I'm confident that I'll land okay, then it's kind of fun and exciting to, not know where you'll be. It could be, for a while I thought I could be on a cruise ship, or I might be working at Club Med, or that I could be doing, some travel show like many of us want to do. And, at times I was close to that. But I think the other thing is, in life, if you have more constraints, so if you have to manage a family earlier on in life, that may constrain you. I definitely want to have mine, but so far I've had that flexibility of not being tied to a number of other people that depend on you. But yeah, I think the world is, as I said, it's quite forgiving, right? People think that, oh my gosh, any mistake at this career, how will I ever be hired in another field? But if you have the art of communication, it's not a pitch, but if you have an art of communication, you can convince people from, any field to any field if you just have a good reason and a passion.
So on this note, since you mentioned communication, so in an organization setting, and especially after going through courses like ANMC, so we get simulated to choosing our words very carefully because we have to measure our words, right? And because of a lot of exposure to our organization setting today in real world, it's been so happening that sometimes it affects the personal life as well. And even in personal communications where it should be completely from the heart, we choose to censor our conversations sometimes, and we deliberately or not, we tend to repeat the words twice before just in our head before speaking and try to sugarcoat it. So you have to say no.
Okay, so I wasn't sure I fully understood the specific question, but if I may paraphrase, you're saying that there's a pressure in general to be very measured in what you have to say. So what's the best way to kind of navigate that, the best way to relax? Yeah, so one thing, as I've said in class, I feel that being authentic is as close to finding your true presence, right? I think it's about presence impacts people. Presence is a combination of a number of different things. I've one personal experience that I went through is just on, we were national TV, when the Olympics were on, we didn't realize the numbers were getting like 35 million viewers, and the live broadcast by Doordarshan at that time was going to some 70 countries. Those numbers are very imposing, right? 35 million, 70 countries. And at times, there were like very blatant errors. And you think, oh my God, an error like that, immediately you'd be fired. And, like in the studio, the boss, they don't care. Yeah, it happens, error happens. No, just correct yourself. Yeah, this was what you might have said. Say this again. And when I thought with such a huge audience, it's okay to have errors. What difference in a small case, the right word doesn't come out? I think the closest that most people can get to is their relaxed potential, as I said in class. And who you are, and if this is the way you talk, and this is how you talk this way, and these are the words you use, it's fine as long as you have that pathos, you care about giving, to your audience. And so that realization came to me early that, you never get scolded that much, right? So just relax as much as possible. That's I guess my short answer would be to believe it will be okay, so just relax.
We've seen apart from the class, we have a lot of sport activities, to relax and have fun. But how do you think sports playing any kind of sport would help improve our communication in any sort? How do we relate sports with communication?
Well, yeah, so I don't know if you can directly relate sport to verbal communication, but I think you can relate, I'd say, a balance and a diversity of things to do to give you confidence. So one thing is overall sports with academics, whether it's communication or whatever your major is. I think growing up in our family, sports was a given. My mother was a coach, my dad could be a coach and mentor. My grandparents had played, my uncle and aunts were playing, so there was always sports going on, and from an early age, I was also brought in to play sport competitively. And I think it made me very efficient and also excited about the other activities. So sometimes academics get to be too dense, and then you're worried, I need a break from this. Or that sports, the pressure is high, sometimes you lose a match, you're not on a great streak. And always having the other balance to rely on is helpful. And not only that, I think, as I said, it makes you more efficient. So if you have to practice for a couple of hours, you have lesser time to study, you just get it done. And time otherwise can fill up to the extent that you put it. What I found with the sports here at Ashoka, right, the ones that we were playing, is it breaks up a heavy intellectual day with a physical day. And ideally, you want both to reinforce each other. The game last night, the football game, wow, this such an incredible game, right? And I was so happy for both my class teams. But that was 2.5 hours or so that drained me. So that's not ideal. But somewhere before that, before the 2.5 hour point of intense play, is for me it's been it's just exciting. This is done. Let's do this. This is done. Now we can come back to this. What about the wrestling?
Because talking about sports and given your family history and background and legacy of sports, did you ever feel like getting into sports and changing your career like that?
Oh yeah, so I was in sports. So I was an anchor over a period of 3 odd years. I got to anchor for the Olympics, the Commonwealth Games, the Asian Games, national games also. So I was enjoying the multi-sports. Then the World Cup that India won, there was both an ESPN broadcast and then a DD broadcast. And because I could work in DD out of NDTV and they knew me, I had the pleasure of doing the post-game show for both India's semi-final and final match. So when Sachin Tendulkar was being carried on the shoulders of these players at the World Cup, and there was a person speaking on the background, and that was me at that time. So it was a real honor to do that. Even the Olympics in 2008 in Beijing, that were just sort of getting sports into the mindset and explaining some of the stories of sports, which is what I focused on. For example, there's a beautiful story that people don't know of an archer. So in the 2004 the Athens Games, the archer was expected to win a gold medal, and he just had to hit close to I think the third concentric circle to make the gold, and he missed it. So it was a 1 in 1,000 possibility that he missed it. He's very dejected, and he came back and almost was crying and put his head down on the tent. And he met another archer from the Czech Republic who was a younger woman talking to him. Eventually, they became husband and wife, and she got the first gold medal of the next games in archery. And these are like these amazing stories. In his adversity, he found a life partner and was an inspiration to her. There was another, I think, a Korean woman who said that her BATNA, the alternative to doing well was getting married. That parents were going to get her married pretty quickly, so she worked really hard to get the medal that she did and sort of earn a different way. So I enjoyed bringing those stories, making sports come alive outside of just results at these games. And yeah, it's sometimes it's a little disappointing. I got into a good school, got to play at a university like Stanford, but it was so stacked that I did not get to play high on the university team, and that I couldn't follow in my parents' footsteps. I was a bit of a nerd, so I always felt that was a fallback option, and if it wasn't, I would have gone a little longer in sports, so I do regret not playing competitive sport longer. But I think the world of sports is very inspiring, as we've seen what it does in this community. It is a tragedy that given our population and also our progress, that we get barely a couple of medals at the games, but I really hope that changes.
So, last question. According to a recent study, they say that millennials from 1984 to 2004 generation will have more than 2 careers at some point of the time throughout their life. So, since you have moved from you have experience in multiple career industries, what do you have to say for them who are looking forward to shifting, changing, and beginning transitions in their lives?
By saying that, you're assuming I'm not there in that group. Them, us, whatever, man, age is a number. No, I think 2 is an underestimate. I think as you're saying, I'm assuming you're meaning like completely different sectors, right? Not just firms. But I think in lifetime, with 50 years, with the way that society, life is changing, attention spans are getting shorter, that is much more going to be the norm than not. And I think for that, these skills are important, right? I'm also collaborating, working with another group that's trying to make these skills of influence, or what they're calling habits of mind, more accessible to students, because our students tend to have good technical skills, but as is discussed in the class today, there's a feeling that they're not ready to immediately perform in organizations as students from other countries are. And I think coming to grad school, we should focus on experiences, because knowledge is quite easily available. If information is easily available, which it wasn't before this generation that you're talking about, but what's not is experiences. So perhaps like negotiating, speaking publicly, doing some leadership exercises. So I think when you have the benefit of a group around you, you should focus on these, what sometimes people are called, unfortunately, soft skills, but they're very important skills of life. If you're well equipped with that, you'll be able to navigate industries. And the really technical side of jobs will be automated anyways. So being a good manager, decision maker is going to be important with these skills of influence.
Thanks a lot for coming, giving your time after nerve-wracking days.
Pleasure.
Yeah, and with this, we end the podcast over here, and the floor is open for